What's up, world changers? It's your boy Marbaby back with another Marbaby motivational message for y'all today. I pray y'all walking in y'all purpose. I pray y'all doing what y'all supposed to be doing. And I pray y'all becoming the best people who y'all are supposed to become. Before we get started, if you have not yet, drop down and turn on that notification bell so you can get notified every time we post a video on here. We a family, y'all. We trying to move forward. We're trying to become better people and we're trying to walk in our purpose. So make sure you drop down and subscribe on this channel. We got Marbaby motivational messages, Marbaby motivational music, and mentorship, all for your benefit. So remember, one Marbaby motivational message a day will take you a very, very long way. Now, without further ado, we got the title of today's video, How to Take Accountability and Stop Making Excuses. So if you're watching this video right now, you might be a person who is always making excuses, and you come to terms with it. And I'm glad that you came to terms with it, because it's hard to look yourself in the mirror sometimes and say, I'm making a mistake, or I'm not taking accountability for what I'm doing, or I'm not, being the man or woman who I'm supposed to be. And instead, I'm delegating all my problems to everybody else. But today is the day that we stop that, y'all. And today is the day that we move forward and we take accountability for our actions, so we can become better people. The first step in how to take accountability and stop making excuses is understanding that your parents did the best that they could. You were dealt the hand that you were dealt, and it's up to you to play it. Y'all, I have this conversation with a close friend all the time. It is super important that you recognize you are 25 years old. You are 30 years old, you're 35 years old, you're 21 years old, you're 18 years old, and you're still blaming your parents for what they did or didn't do for you when you were younger. Like, y'all, that is a problem. You have to take accountability for you. You had 18 years to fix it. Or even if you didn't have 18 years to fix it, they did the best they can. And even if they didn't do the best they could, you are where you are. Are you going to cry for the rest of your life until you die? And then go to your grave saying, my parents didn't do what they were supposed to for me, or my dad wasn't there for me, or my mom wasn't there for me. She was on drugs. My dad was absent. Like, when are you going to stop complaining about that stuff and start trying to make it right for yourself? Y'all, there becomes a point where you self-sabotage yourself, and a lot of your frustration is self-inflicted because you never dealt with the pain that you were supposed to deal with yesterday. That's why a lot of people who I know are kind of against therapy. I'm not against therapy, so don't say that. I'm for therapy. But a lot of the individuals who I talk to are against therapy because they say it's just an opportunity for you to vent and live in the past instead of moving forward. Because a lot of people go to therapy and they talk about, what happened in their past, but they don't ever move forward and they don't ever really take accountability for what they've done, right? But first point, y'all, is remembering that it's nobody's fault where you are. It's nobody's fault. And even if it is, it ain't. Because if you sit around and dwell on it, you're not going to be able to move forward. Your parents did the best they could. You dealt the hands you dealt. Just because somebody else started, in a better, living in a better neighborhood than you, living in an affluent neighborhood, you were raised in a low socioeconomic status neighborhood, that doesn't mean that you can't become who you're supposed to become. So stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming your siblings. It's not their fault. It's time for you to walk in your purpose and be who you're supposed to be. The second thing, stop blaming others for where you are. This is an extension of the first thing, y'all. It's not their fault. It's nobody's fault that you are where you are, right? And the truth is, it may not even be completely your fault. But what's going to happen is today, you're going to make the decision that you're going to move forward and you're going to be the person who you need to be and the person that you were created to be. And you're going to stop blaming others for where you are or what you've done, right? Nobody made you drink. Nobody made you become a drunk. Because you start hanging around Sheila and because you start hanging around Nene, they didn't make you drink more. They didn't put the drink up to your mouth. And even if they did, you ain't have to open your mouth. Like, let's start taking some accountability so that we can move forward, right? It's nobody's fault. Third, look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. In order to move forward, y'all, in order to take accountability, this is one of the biggest steps. Nobody wants to look themselves in the mirror and say, I'm a drunk. Nobody wants to look themselves in the mirror and say, right now, I'm an absent father. Nobody wants to look themselves in the mirror and say, yo, right now, I'm addicted to meds. Be honest with yourself. And when you look yourself in the mirror, the best thing is, y'all, you don't got to tell nobody. It can just be you and your thoughts and God. That's it. That's the best thing about looking yourself in the mirror. When you not being the man or woman who you supposed to be, you can look in that mirror and say, yo, I messed up. I messed up. And you can start taking the steps to make it right. But the problem with most of y'all is y'all don't ever want to take that accountability, because it's easy to blame somebody else for where you're not at. It's easy to say, oh, they had this and they had that, and say, well, I didn't have this and I didn't have that. Like, no, you can't blame them. Tell yourself where you at and know where you want to go from there, right? So the third thing is be able to look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. And last, don't get sad. After you tell yourself, yo, I'm a drunk. Yo, I'm addicted to meds. Yo, I'm addicted to pornography. Whatever it is. After you tell yourself that, follow that up by saying, I'm not going to get sad and I'm not going to wallow in that. I'm going to use that as motivation to become a better person, right? Because I don't want to go back there. Y'all, I done prayed for people on the streets who had been sober for a long time after being drunks, who had been strung out on drugs. What I do for work, y'all, I help people who are coming home from prison, right? So I know the type of things that they're dealing with. And the number one thing that I tell them all the time is, are you going to live in this or are you going to move forward? Because all it is a choice. It ain't going to be easy, but the first step is looking yourself in the mirror and say, yo, I got a problem. And if you don't tell yourself that, you'll never move forward. The 4 steps, y'all, to taking accountability and stop making excuses. Your parents did the best they could. You were dealt the hand you were dealt. Accept it. The second thing, stop blaming others for where you at. The third thing is look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. And the fourth thing is don't get sad, get motivated. Y'all, today is the day that y'all turn it around. Today is the day that you become the woman and the man you're supposed to be. And today is the day you take accountability. I love y'all. I pray y'all got something from this. And I pray y'all moving forward. Drop down in them comments and let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we going to start taking accountability and moving forward and becoming our best selves. I love y'all. Peace.